Weekly summary of the Presidency of the Libyan government. State Minister for Illegal Immigration Affairs, Mr. Fathi Tabawi, discussed in his office with the Minister of Technical Education, Dr. Farash Khalil, and Minister of Social Affairs, Mr. Mabrouk Mohammed, the ways of cooperation between the Libyan government ministries and coordinating among them to resolve the issues of displacement of Sudanese citizens in some areas such as Kafra, Benghazi, Libyan, and Sabha. The Directorate of the Prime Minister's Office in the Libyan government's southern region welcomed the members of the Friends Association for Mental Abilities coming from Benghazi to Sabha City to participate in the local robotics championship to be held in the city. The President of the Libyan Media Institution, Mr. Mohammed Amar Ba'i, issued a decision to establish a new visual news channel under the Libyan Television Radio Network, TAL, naming the new channel Libyan News, and its headquarters will be in Benghazi. Ambulances, pesticides, spraying vehicles, and water supply vehicles allocated by the government to the city arrived in Zlitan. This is in response to the Prime Minister's decision to declare a state emergency in the city due to the rise of groundwater levels. The government has committed to providing further supplies gradually to address the situation. The President of the General Authority for Endowments and Islamic Affairs in the Libyan government, Mr. Ataf Al-Abidi, discussed the challenges facing the work of the Crescent Siding Committee, affiliated with the Higher Fatwa Committee, and the ways to resolve them. This took place during a meeting with the chairman of the Monitoring Committee and heads of the observatories in the Crescent Siding Committee. Inspection tour with the several directorates of departments and security agencies. Interior of the Libyan government, Major General Isam Bouzeriba, reviewed the security situation at the Isim border crossing with Algeria, as well as the shortcomings and needs of the security agency to secure the borders and maintain security. The Libyan government announced a temporary closure for industrial river water to Zlitan due to the rise of the groundwater levels in the city. The closures aim to conduct a test to identify the causes of the groundwater level rise. This decision was made of the light of declaring state of emergency in Zlitan and after addressing the Minister of Water Resources in the government and the chairman of the board of directors of the Industrial River Project, who both confirmed compliance with the instructions. The closures will be patrolled on stop lines and will be last only a few days until the experts appointed to study the situation in affected areas in the city to identify and solve the causes. Prime Minister of the Libyan government, Dr. Osama Hamad, addressed the Attorney General urging to halt the outgoing government from dealing with the public funds without justification and take all necessary steps to investigate and act swiftly to stop the implementation of Decision Number 46 of 2024 regarding the transfer of ownership of some state-owned companies. The decision aims to transfer ownership of several state-owned companies to the General Authority for Investment Promotion as a prelude to privatizing them, which is considered invalid and illegal, and misuse of public funds without justification. A team of experts from the Egyptian delegation of Icon Egyptian Consulting Engineering Company arrived in Zlitan under the sponsorship of the Libyan government's Council of Ministers to start studies on the phenomenon of rising groundwater levels in Zlitan. They will provide technical and scientific reports on this phenomenon and to find urgent solutions to serve the city's residents. State Minister for Women's Affairs in the Libyan government, Mrs. Intisar Al-Aboud, discussed with the members and female representatives of municipal councils the most important obstacles and problems facing women in municipalities, such as the lack of offices, needs, and the absence of work mechanism, and the necessity of developing plans to empower women in municipalities in cooperation with the Women's Improvement Office. Minister of Foreign Affairs in the Libyan government, Dr. Abdelhadi Lahouij, received an invitation from Senegal's Prime Minister Mr. Amadou Ba to visit Dakar. He was received at the headquarters of the Prime Minister's office in the Senegal's capital, Dakar, where decisions highlighted the current developments in Libya, emphasizing the deep historical and distinguished relation between the two brotherly countries, both leadership and people. The Libyan government reaffirmed its desire to inject new momentum into bilateral relations and enhance them in various fields. The Minister of Health in the Libyan government, Dr. Athman Abdeljalil, and the Minister of Higher Education and Scientific Research, Mr. Mahdi Saidi, met to discuss the decision of transfer clinical faculty members to the Ministry of Higher Education, following their desire after adjusting the salaries of faculty members. They also discussed how to address this issue, avoiding any gap or distribution in the health sector after transferring consultants, specialists, and senior doctors to the Ministry of Higher Education and Scientific Research. The General Authority for Endowments and Islamic Affairs in the Libyan government announced the completion of reprinting nearly 300,000 copies in various sizes of the Quran manuscript, known as Jamahiriya Quran, under the title Quran Manuscript, with the column narration by Nafi, after review and modification according to the instruction of the Quran and its Science Experts Committee, formed by the authority. The Egyptian expert delegation, dispatched by the Libyan government, began its fieldwork in Zliten to identify the causes of rising groundwater phenomena. They conducted field studies, analyses, and necessary tests to find the solutions and address the causes. They inspected houses affected by the rising groundwater and reviewed the situation of Qam Dam and conducted field monitoring of the phenomena in the Aish and Ain Qam areas and other affected areas. Measurements requirements analyses were taken to determine the source of the water and present the result to the Libyan government presidency, which closely monitoring the situation around the clock to take all necessary actions and deal with the crisis and provide service solutions to the affected citizens in Zliten. Prime Minister of the Libyan government, Dr. Osama Hamad, conducted an inspection tour accompanied by the chairman of the Reconstruction Stability Committee, Mr. Hatem Al-Aribi, and the commander of the 166th Infantry, Colonel Ayoub Al-Busayfi, inside the Ejdabiya city to lay the foundation stone for the construction of new bridges in the city, monitor reconstruction projects, review maintenance work at several sites, and prepare for bridges construction works by the designated company. The Committee for Preparing the Libyan Jobs Guide at the Ministry of Civil Service and the Libyan government held its parliamentary meeting at the International Peace University in Benghazi, under the patronage of the Minister of Civil Service, Dr. Muhammad Abu Naama, and the presence of the Minister of Tourism and Antiquities, Dr. Ali Qalma, the Minister of Maritime Wealth, Ali Milad, and the Minister of Transportation, Engineer Abdul Hakim Ghazawi, along with a group of responsible gentlemen. The meeting addressed several important topics, including the description of public positions and their titles and duties, that required qualification, specialized leadership, technical service, operational and scientific positions, job classification and arrangement, as well as the rights and duties associated with each position. The number of jobs titled reached 6,000 titles. Minister of Health in the Libyan government, Dr. Athman Abdejili, inaugurates the auditory screening unit for newborns at the Sabri Comprehensive Clinic in the presence of the Director General for the Sabri Comprehensive Clinic, Dr. Mohamed Lubraki, a number of department directors at the ministry, directors of public hospitals, and specialized doctors in this field. This comes after the Ministry of Health adopted the idea of establishing the auditory screening unit proposed by a number of specialists in this field. The minister issued instructions to supplying company for devices to provide a number of culture implementing hearing aids for all targeted cases for newborns transformed from children's hospital or other hospital housing newborn units. Deputy Minister of Local Governors, Mr. Abu Bakr al-Zawi, discussed with a number of mayors of municipalities in the eastern region the needs and obstacles facing development projects in their municipalities, especially service ones. It was emphasized that the ministry, with the support of the Prime Minister's office, is working to address these obstacles and improve service in various municipalities. Prime Minister of the Libyan government, Dr. Osama Hamad, met with the Minister of Interior, Mr. Issam Bouzeri, to review the results of his recent visit to the southern region, during which he inspected the border areas with the neighboring countries to assess their conditions and identify the basic needs for the interior elements responsible for securing these areas. The Minister of Interior briefed the Prime Minister on their priorities and necessary needs to secure the borders and stop the illegal immigration and smuggling through them. The Prime Minister emphasized the importance of protecting and securing the border areas and harnessing all the capabilities of the Libyan government for this, in order to preserve the country's resources and national security. Minister of Electricity and Renewable Energies in the Libyan government, Dr. Awad al-Badri, conducted a field tour to the Tika Bufakar Residential Youth Plan in two areas to assess the needs of the first phase of the project, the stations and the necessary electrical materials for the site. The minister issued instructions to allocate 4 sites for distribution stations and their facilities, including cables and equipment, to provide suitable environment for building more than 400 youth residents. The minister and the accompanying delegation also visited the Tika transformer station and issued instructions to renew and maintain the station. The Ministry of Investment and the Libyan government urged all its affiliated bodies and investment-related entities not to rely on any decision issued by the outgoing government, in accordance with the decision of the House of Representatives number 10 of 2021 regarding withdrawing confidence from the government of national unity. This comes following the letter of the Prime Minister dated February 4, 2024, considering any changes in the illegal and administrative positions of institutions and bodies contrary to the date of withdrawing confidence from the government. The Ministry also reaffirmed to the assignment of the Libyan government issued on February 10, 2022, and approved organizational structure of the Ministry of Investment. The President of the General Authority for Endowments and Islamic Affairs in the Libyan government, Mr. Ataf Al-Abidi, discussed with the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Dr. Abdul Hadi Al-Hwij, ways to maintain continuous communication between the two sides in areas of joint cooperation with Islamic world countries regarding participation in activities and meeting of Islamic jurisprudence consults and international Quran memorization competitions and prizes. Minister of State for Illegal Immigration Affairs Mr. Fathi Tabawi received the President of International Organization for Migration (IOM) and the accompanying delegation with the framework of organizing the work for international organizations operating in the field of migration. The Minister presided the willingness of the International Organization for Migration (IOM) to cooperate and coordinate with the Ministry in several areas, expressing the Ministry's full readiness to cooperate to address the phenomenon and its causes and ensure human treatment for its victims. Minister of Health in the Libyan government Dr. Athman Abdijali visited the Benghazi Medical Center to discuss with a number of doctors, specialists, and consultants in the oncology department everything related to the tumor patients, filed to ascertain the progress of patient registry committee and the actual number of patients. Prime Minister of the Libyan government Dr. Osama Hamad discussed with a delegation of elders and dignitaries from the Hassauna tribe in the southern region of the country the service conditions in the southern region aimed at the security stability witnessed in the area. He also discussed the amendment launch of the package of reconstruction and stability projects in the south by the government and the General Command of the Army. The Prime Minister confirmed the amendment commenced for the arrival of local and foreign companies to the cities and regions in the south to begin reconstruction and development projects in all facilities and sectors. Additionally, the attendants praised the success of the General Command and the Libyan government in establishing the administrative and security control and improving security conditions in the areas. Minister of Interior in the Libyan government, Major General Isam Bouzeriba, discussed the work progress of the Passport Department in the eastern region after providing all necessary equipment, supplies, and requirements by the ministry. This was during a meeting held in his office in Benghazi with the Assistant Chief of the Department, Major General Faisal Mahjoub, where they discussed several issues recorded by the department in the past period, including cases and seizures related to forgery and the fraud. Minister of Foreign Affairs Dr. Abdelhadi Lahouish discussed with the Ambassador and Director General for Joint Affairs at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Migration and Tunisian Support, Mr. Saifullah bin Mahmoud, the enhancement of bilateral relations between the two brotherly countries, and acceleration of procedures for opening the Tunisian consulate in Benghazi. Minister of Labor and Rehabilitation Engineer Abdullah Sharif held a meeting at the ministry's headquarters and served with representatives from the Union of Employees Withdrawn and Troubled Companies and several directors of these companies. The meeting aimed to prepare final reports to be presented to the Prime Minister's office for final solutions, based on the directives of the Prime Minister Dr. Osama Hamad regarding providing appropriate and fundamental solutions for employees, troubled and withdrawn companies. Deputy Minister of Local Governance Mr. Boubacar Zawi discussed the problems and obstacles facing the work in Shahat and Jabal al-Sahab municipalities and ways to develop the level of service provided to citizens in these municipalities during an extensive meeting with mayors Mr. Eid al-Safa and Faraj Boutouila. Minister of Justice Councillor Khalid Masoud during his meeting with the member of the House of Representatives of Tobruk District Mr. Salhin Abdelnabi, Minister of Investment Mr. Ali Al-Saad, and Minister of Education Dr. Jamal Al-Jadid emphasized the necessity of legal libraries, references, and periodical journals availability in the ministries, as well as the importance of holding conferences and seminars specialized in legal aspects in all state sectors. Minister of State for Illegal Immigration Affairs Mr. Fathi Tabawi reviewed with the head of the UNICEF office in Benghazi, Mr. Nasat Rafiq, areas of coordination and cooperation between UNICEF and the ministry in several fields, within the framework of organizing the work of the international organization operating in the field of immigration. Prime Minister of the Libyan government Dr. Osama Hamad participated in the meeting with the members of the House of Representatives, the State Council, mayors of municipalities, dignitaries, and representative political parties and civil society institutions in the Western region through a meeting held via satellite. The Prime Minister affirmed that the Libyan government is the government of all Libyans and emphasized the necessity of unity and work on the path of development and reconstruction in all cities with the support of the House of Representatives and the General Command of the Armed Forces. He referred to the government's violations at the end of its term and the waste of public funds, and the steps taken by the Libyan government to address the issue and issue laws to prevent abuse of Libyan resources. He also affirmed the right of Libyan's parliamentary and presidential elections, praising the solidarity for all Libyans with Derna and the Green Mountain while speaking about the government's handling of the crisis currently experienced by the city of Islita, whether by providing budget or alleviating its effects, and by assigning a committee of experts to study its causes dimensions, and consequences.